Good evening. Welcome back to the Glazov Gang, our third segment of this fascinating and exhilarating program with Tom Dreesen, critically acclaimed and world-renowned stand-up comedian, Dwight Schultz, who played Murdock on NBC's The A-Team, and Sonja Schmidt, conservative political pundit, playwright, author, and Watts Beauty Queen 2006. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
One day in the life of a conservative in Hollywood. Sounds very scary. Each of you, in your own way, have been involved in this industry. I was in academia as a conservative, shunned, not talked to, demonized, etc. Every time I watch a Hollywood movie, attacks on Christians, conservatives, white people, Catholic priests, etc., rampant.
Corporations, you left out corporations.
Sorry. Tom, let's begin with you. Can you tell us an anecdote, perhaps your own experience? Now, I'm not trying to label you, but I have a feeling that you're not a radical leftist. What was it like for you?
Well, first of all, I came from Chicago. In Chicago, the second you come out of the womb, you meet your Democratic precinct captain, and then they let you meet your mom and dad. So you're raised in that environment. But I was at John F. Kennedy when I came out of the service. When this man said, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country," that resonated with me. Mm-hmm. I mean, I knew that that's what I want to be like. But in those days, if John Kennedy were alive today, if I read you 5 quotes, you'd say, "Oh, that's Barry Goldwater. Oh, that's Ronald Reagan." They're Kennedy quotes. If Kennedy were alive today, he'd be conservative. In Chicago, or at least his views were, in Chicago, the conservatives and the Democrats and the Republicans would sit in bars, have a few drinks, discuss heartily, and then say, that's a good idea, let's have an... They never... Today, when I came out to Hollywood, this is when I noticed a difference. When I came out to Hollywood, these were not the Democrats that I was raised with. These were hate-spewing... If you'd say, I love my country. One of them flag wavers, huh? I believe in God. One of those religious nuts. I support the Oval Office regardless who's in there, even if that no-good SOB Reagan is in there. Whatever you would say, they would have some sort of hatred.
Now, it obviously didn't hurt your career. I mean, you became very successful. Were you very outspoken, or were you known not to walk the party line? Well,
I didn't get. The reason why I didn't get in deep. Every time you would say something conservative, their response to you was, "Oh, you're not one of those effing Republicans." I never said you're not a Republican or you're conservative. You're not one of those effing Republicans. I believe in small government. I believe in personal responsibility. Those are the things I believe in.
But they can be very vicious. Tell us one little thing before we go to Sonja, just an anecdote from your past of where perhaps you were verbally abused or something happened for being a conservative or having...
I got to tell you something. I grew up on the streets. You aren't going to verbally abuse me. I mean, I grew up... I played basketball on an all-black basketball team. I played football on an all-black...
I heard that you're undefeated as a street fighter.
No, I've lost a few in the street. I hate to say, I'd like to tell you that that's true. But my point is, I don't let anybody step on my beliefs, step on my patriotism, right? Step on what I believe in. But I allow them also. Yeah. I see, as a conservative, I would say to a liberal and say, well, explain that to me. Now I want to hear this, because maybe you might enlighten me on something.
They don't have anything. They just call names, right? Well, yeah. Sonja? Your experience.
I have so many experiences, but I will tell you about the experience when I came out in Hollywood. And now my background's as a writer and a producer. And in the writer's room, you are free to talk about anything, no matter how vile, how crazy, how sexist, how whatever. We talk about it. It's like a guy's locker room. One day they were talking about Bush, and I simply said, "Gee, not everybody feels the way that you do." And all heads whipped around at the table, and they all attacked me at once and wanted to know. And at that time, I hadn't even registered Republican. I didn't know what I was, but I knew I wasn't one of them.
Right.
And from then on, I was shocked at the response, because one of the beauties of the writer's room is you want to have a lot of different voices, a lot of different points of view. That's what's going to make your script better. Yeah. But that didn't mean being a Republican or thinking right-leaning. After that, they tore up my scripts. They wouldn't take any of my jokes. They ripped my scripts up, said I'd been in the business for 15 years. Yeah. They told me I couldn't write.
How about being African American?
There's a special kind of hate in their heart. They feel like that I am betraying them. It's like, after all we've done for you. And I tell you, I got into Hollywood writing through the affirmative action program. Now, tell me why an industry that's supposed to be so tolerant, so down with the cause, so, with down with black people, that they even need an affirmative action program.
Sonja, in one of your stand-up comedy routines, I'm not sure if this was true or not, you were saying that you tried to kind of get in with the black community by saying that you didn't think OJ did it.
That's a joke.
Did that work? But it sometimes works.
Jokes.
Oh, it was a joke. Okay.
Yeah, no, I would never do that. I mean, once I came out, I bought it, but they jumped on me every day, and then I started having to read and study and to figure out why I believed what I believed, and that's how I became an outspoken pundit.
Dwight, your experience in the leftist gulag?
Well, in 1979, I came out to California to do a play, and it was with Charlton Heston. And I had this great conversation with him in the hall about Ronald Reagan and Jimmy Carter, and it was about a 20-minute conversation. It was just one of those remarkable things that you experience in your life, and it was fabulous. I went back to the East Coast, and I worked at the Williamstown Theater Festival, and I was telling someone at a buffet about this great experience that I had. And Bruce Paltrow, who was Blythe Danner's husband, producer of St. Elsewhere and, on television, heard me talking about it, and he said, "Oh, so you're a Reagan a-hole." And I was simply devastated. I couldn't say anything. I wasn't confrontational at that particular time.
Well, you're a peacemaker at heart.
I wouldn't say I learned to be confrontational, but that didn't work either.
You needed more of Tom's.
But I was devastated. And then when I finally came to California to get into television, Tom Fontana had brought me in to audition for the part of Fiscus on St. Elsewhere. And as I'm walking in, and you'll all know, I'm walking in, and there is Paltrow, and he looks at me and he goes, "What the F are you doing here?" The producer is saying this to me, and I'm getting ready to audition. And I'm here to audition for the part of Fiscus. And he said, "Well, no Reagan a-hole is going to be in my show." I still went in and auditioned. Very badly. Very badly. But that was the nightmare that I experienced.
Ladies and gentlemen, and just in terms of this, because this thought control, this kind of persecution of conservatives, etc., in many respects we see it in our higher literary culture, we see it in the White House today. When you sit back and close your eyes and reflect, are you worried for this country? And if you are, what's on your mind? Tom?
Yeah, I am worried that government, as Ronald Reagan said, government is never the solution. It's the problem. Politics is downstream from our culture. I mean, our movies. 8 movies in a row were made about the GIs, about American GIs. They're homophobic, psychopathic. They're terrible people, rapists, and so forth and so on. They even went and took the Manchurian Candidate, one of Frank Sinatra's favorite movies, where you can't make a film without an antagonist and a protagonist. So in the Manchurian Candidate, communism was the antagonist. They redid it and made corporate the antagonist. They're subtly doing this in our films, in our television shows, and I catch it in movies. I'll be in a movie and I go,
almost
"Oh my God!"
every one. I've noticed almost in every one.
So I worry. I worry that our young people today. I wish every college had to teach a course in liberalism and a course in conservatism. I would love for the kids to have listen to both. And why they won't do that? Because if they do, our kids will be leaving the college predominantly conservative.
Yeah, I have to admit. I mean, for me, it just to be pessimistic is just a given. I just believe that we scoop the water out of the sinking ship till it finally goes down. But I believe in fighting, but we're definitely losing. Sonja?
Yeah, and in keeping in the theme of the entertainment industry, what the left does so well that we aren't able to get into is using the arts and entertainment to change hearts and minds. And I think that's what the reason why so many young people, the reason people feel the way they do, is they've been so influenced by entertainment, movies, music, this and that and the other, and it shapes what they believe. And I believe that if we can't find a way with new media, maybe you're doing a fabulous thing here, But once we get once we're able to find our way into entertainment, and that's one of the reasons I do Ladies of the Right and the stand-up thing, and I'm not even an on-film person or stage person. I come from being a writer, but I think it's so important that we start to laugh at the left and be entertained by the left, so we can shape their narrative as they shaped ours.
They hate being ridiculed, that's for sure. Dwight?
I want to build on something that Tom said. To me,
Even though what Sonja said was very wise.
Yes.
Yeah, it was
no,
brilliant.
it was. It has nothing to do with it. Has to do with an example of how things are perverted and distorted. Francis Ford Coppola remade Dracula. Dracula is one of the all-time great novels about evil. Francis Ford Coppola called it Bram Stoker's Dracula. But the problem is, Dracula was the only individual in the movie who cried. It was God's fault. That was the premise. And they turned a scene in the book where Dracula takes... I think it was Mina's face. He cuts his chest and pulls her to him and forces her. It was described as drowning a cat in a bowl of milk. In the movie, it was made into this lovely,
Can I tell you, you're not kidding. I to hear you describe that, I'm like amazed. I didn't get the subtleties, but worked for me.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end, but within 2 minutes, I want to get some knowledge out of you guests. Tom, one of your favorite movies?
Well, I mean, I will come up with so many when you say that. But Magnificent. I like the Magnificent Seven. I like that they went and the villagers fought and won their freedom, and I would watch that movie.
Favorite book?
Favorite book? Mine would be The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. It changed my lifestyle.
Favorite actor?
Frank Sinatra was one of my favorite actors, but Clint Eastwood is now one of my favorite actors.
Okay. Sonja, movie?
Again, there's so many, but I have to tell you, when I saw Fargo, I never get tired of that, just because. Also, and I'm from the ghetto in South Central, and seeing these people talk like that, don't you know, was just the most. It's just,
movie? No, you said movie. Sorry, actor.
Actor, I don't have a favorite actor. I wish Sean Penn wasn't such a jerk.
Yeah, but
because he's fantastic.
Great Mystic River, etc. And book.
I'm reading it again. Confederacy of Dunces.
Okay.
Being There, my favorite film. In fact, it was the last time when Peter Sellers didn't win the Academy Award for his performance in that. It was the last time I watched the Academy Awards, unless I know somebody who is being nominated. I stopped watching it after that. Book, The Cosmic Code by Heinz Pegels, which is an attempt to explain to the layperson quantum mechanics. I just think that's a phenomenal thing.
An actor?
Gary Oldman. Somebody who has deserved several Academy Awards.
Ladies and gentlemen, it was an honor and a privilege to be joined by you three. Thank you. I hope you'll come back. Join us next week for another edition of the Glazov Gang.